Welcome back to Bears Talk today. And Mike, we're 3-2.
3-2, baby.
Wow.
Honestly, it feels good.
If you weren't with us at 0-2, don't come with us at
Don't jump on at 3-2, baby. Don't jump on the bandwagon now. If you weren't with us for last year's Hail Mary, you weren't with us for this year's Jake Moody game-winning field goal, baby.
Yeah.
Baby. Justin, would it blow your mind if I told you this is the Bears' first 3-game winning streak since 2019?
Oh, my goodness.
We haven't had a 3-game winning streak since before the pandemic.
Wow.
Honestly, that's pretty sad.
That is.
It's all right, but
it's very sad.
we back.
We're back.
We are so back.
We are so back.
Yeah, like we said, Bears moved to 3-2. They beat the Washington Commanders 25-24. I actually have an interesting stat regarding our final score as well. But we have a lot to unpack with this game, a lot to talk about. We avenged our loss from last year, the loss that ultimately crippled our entire season.
Yeah.
Led to, I think, was the first breaking point of Matt Eberflus's time in Chicago.
Yeah.
Right. The Lions game was the final straw, but this was I think the game where a lot of people were like, all right, it's time to let him go.
Oh yeah.
And a year later, almost exactly a year later, Bears are in a much better spot. 3-2. They beat the Commanders on Monday night. Justin, yesterday night it was a wet, sloppy, weird game. A lot of turnovers. The weather was definitely a factor, especially later in the game.
Yeah.
But a win's a win.
A win's a win.
A win's a win. I'm never going to complain about a win. I'd rather have a bad win, or I'm sorry, a weird win than a good-looking loss.
Yeah.
You can argue there's no such thing as a good-looking loss, but still.
Yeah.
25-24, Justin, before we kind of get into the nitty-gritty, what were some of your takeaways from this game?
I think, Mike, we just saw a team that was confident. I think when you compare this team to last year's team, I honestly think Ben Johnson went into practice last week, probably replayed the game from last year and said, we're not doing this again. I think, this week's practice before the Commanders game yesterday was very probably motivating. He probably, we've seen the clips of Ben Johnson already this year. He's a little bit of a, a little loco. He's a psycho, but in a good way. So, he probably used some psychological warfare to remind these guys, hey, you remember what happened last year. A lot of you were on the team last year. Don't let it happen again. And I think definitely during the third and fourth quarter, we were really as a unit the strongest, especially when they had the fumble and when Daniels is being pressured by our defense. 11 takeaways. I just think there's so much about this team that has so much potential. And honestly, we were it feels kind of good to be on the right side of history again. Yeah. I mean, same exact score margin.
Both games ended on a last-second field goal. We blocked one. We made the other one.
Yeah.
You mentioned the turnovers, Justin. To me, that was one of the keys of the game.
Yeah.
We won the turnover battle 3-0. We scored points off of every single turnover. Now, 2 of those turnovers, the first one being Jane Daniels' interception, the second one being the fumble on Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Those were, I think, our defense making plays. Those were the first 2 Washington possessions. They'd only turned the ball over 3 times prior in their 5 games before yesterday. And then the third one was obviously the kind of bad handoff, weird exchange.
Yeah.
It was the rain, right?
We
can admit it was the rain, but I think there is something to be said about taking advantage of that opportunity because that at no point, by no means did that win the Bears the game. They still had to drive down the field. They still had to get in field goal range or get in the end zone, and they still had to stop or leave Washington with very little time to get the ball back. So you gotta give credit to the Bears. Turnovers were a big story. For me, Justin, the biggest story, though, was the rushing game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
DeAndre Swift, I'm unfamiliar with your game, buddy.
I looked it up earlier today because, to me, it had felt like this was DeAndre Swift's first 100-yard rushing game as a Chicago Bear. It's actually his second. Do you want to guess? Do you want to guess what his other 100-yard rushing game was, Justin?
I don't even remember, no.
It was last year against the Commanders. So
he's
apparently Barry Sanders every time we play the Commanders, and I'm okay with that. He ran for $129 last year, ran for $108 this year. Also had a huge 55-yard reception touchdown.
Yeah.
I've been very critical of DeAndre Swift, and I've said some maybe mean things to him, allegedly. But what I will say, what I've always said is, when he has the ball in space, he's a playmaker.
Yes.
Right? He can make a guy miss. He's got good speed. I don't love his vision. I don't love him between the tackles. But when he gets out in the open space, he can make a guy miss and he can make some plays. So that's exactly what he did on that 55-yard catch. On the flip side, though, I'd been critical of the Bears' running game, and I've been critical of their rushing defense. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt only had 61 yards. I mean, the Bears really held the Commanders in check. They did a great job running the ball, and they did a great job stopping the run. Commanders averaged just 4 yards a carry. Bears averaged 5.5 yards a carry. Right, that was kind of the opposite in the last couple of weeks. The last game, Genty had his big breakout. He was running all over us. So it's good to see that after the bye week, the Bears were able to calibrate that side of the ball, get better run defense, run the ball more efficiently, because that had been a big concern of mine through our first 4 games. But good progress was made last night, I think. I thought Theo Benedict at left tackle did a pretty good job. And, we'll get into some of the other things, but running the ball, I thought, was the biggest key to the game, and the Bears did that better than the Commanders last night.
No, they definitely did, and I think that was a huge factor, especially when Swift got that touchdown later in that second half. I just thought overall when I feel like that's going to be our biggest X factor this year is our run game. If our run game can be just as good as it was last night, I think we'll be an extremely deadly team. And it was honestly, the run game was needed at the perfect timing, especially this might be unpopular opinion. I definitely feel like Jaden Daniels had the better game offensively. In our run game kind of helped cover that. I think Caleb definitely came out and he played his best, but I just felt like our defense and our run game had pretty much saved us for this win.
Yeah, no, Caleb. I don't think Caleb was by any means
horrible.
Yeah, no, I don't think he was fantastic last night.
Yeah,
I thought there was a few. He has this tendency to kind of look a little jittery sometimes, and his footwork gets out of sync, and his mechanics can slip a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think, and this is true, I think anybody could tell you this, Caleb has such a good arm.
He does.
That sometimes he doesn't reel it in as much as he should, right? And the other thing that we noticed yesterday is Caleb likes to extend plays to the absolute last second, and that results in him getting popped by Frankie Louvu on the sidelines. And it's like, just throw the ball away, man. Like, nothing good's going to happen in that spot. Just throw the ball away. But did he play a bad game? I wouldn't classify that as bad at all.
No.
252 yards, 17 of 29, a touchdown, no interceptions. The Bears did not turn the ball over, which, like we said earlier, was the key in this game. 98.6 rating. He becomes the first Bears quarterback ever to start the season with at least 200 yards and 1 touchdown in the first 5 games. Now, he played efficiently. Like, some games, you're not going to be throwing for 4 touchdowns like you did last week.
No.
You're not going to be, doing all of these things. But, I'm sorry, like he did a couple weeks ago. But, played efficient. You had to play to the strength of your team, which was a running game. On the final drive, Caleb, yes, he converted a couple first downs, the one to Loveland most impressively. But, they relied on the running game. And that's what the game plan was. And that's what the weather dictated. That's what the offensive line was kicking butt. So I don't have any problem with the way Caleb played yesterday. Obviously, some things to clean up, but nothing to me that was catastrophic.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely when we look at this team as a whole, we know I think yes, this win was great. I think that we were able to really capitalize from the thrashing of the Cowboys, and then we went on the road in Las Vegas and won that game. I think this just helps us instill more confidence to say that we can beat any team in the NFL.
Yeah.
Now, am I expecting them to beat the Eagles and all these top-tier, the Lions and top-tier NFC teams, period? Probably not yet. But when it comes to teams that are on our level, because let's be real, the Commanders aren't the same Commanders as they were last year.
No.
Daniels is obviously recovering from that injury that he had a couple of weeks ago. These are games that we must win. Even if it's a nail-biter, it's still a win, right?
Yeah.
And that's that culture that, when you look at last year and, the Lions, they had a couple of close games where they won by the skin of their teeth, or they had to come back. They were down 2 or 3 touchdowns. And that's sort of the culture that Ben Johnson is instilling in this Bears offense, is that, hey, I don't care if we're down 1 touchdown, 2 touchdowns, whatever it might be. We're still going to go out there and we're still going to play our hardest.
Yeah. No, and I think a perfect example, like you were just saying, is what the Chiefs did last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
They ended up going to the Super Bowl, and they won a game on a last-second drive by the Raiders that didn't result in any points. And they blocked a field goal, and they made a field goal, and they scored a touchdown. Like, they were finding just ways to win games, and I think that's what the good teams do is they find ways to win games.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in this game, we pulled a kicker off the street who had been a total bust in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
He makes 4 field goals and kicks the game winner. Last week, we block a kick with time expiring. Against the Cowboys, we had 4 turnovers, and Caleb was excellent. Like, finding ways to win game. It doesn't have to be the same formula every game. You don't have to put up 30 every single game. You don't have to play shut-down defense every single game.
Mm-hmm.
It's finding ways to win, and it's taking advantage of opportunities, which the Bears have done.
They did.
And I would be remiss to mention Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
I thought, again, this is – everybody, I think, there was this perception around Ben Johnson when he was hired as the Bears or when he was in the coaching cycle, and they're like, well, yes, Ben Johnson can design an offense and he can draw plays, but maybe he's kind of a dork. Maybe he can't lead, people. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing with the Dolphins right now. Sorry to throw a stray at my Miami fans who are watching this Bears recap podcast, but like Mike McDaniel, I don't think anybody denies the fact that he can draw plays and he can scheme up runs and he can do all these things.
Yeah.
Is he a leader of men? Can he rally the troops? Can he get all the guys to fight for each other? I think that's a big question in Miami right now. And that's what people thought about with Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
Justin, you watch the way he is at the press conference.
Yeah.
You watch the way he is in the locker room. You watch the way he speaks to the players and the media before and after the game. This guy's dialed in. Like he is really dialed in, and I think the players respect him. They're bought in. Caleb has talked about it too. Like, everybody's bought into the vision. They all trust Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
And, I think we're seeing that the leadership of Ben Johnson right now has been more important than his X's and O's and his play design and everything coaching. Like that. Like, him being a leader has been so evident with these first 5 games. And I'm honestly, I'm just very, very impressed. I think he's done a great job. And I was thinking about this too last night, Justin. Like, obviously we had a bad week 1 against the Vikings. We had that big lead. They came back. They beat us. We're a couple of plays away from being 4-1 right now.
Yeah. No, I mean,
like, Lions kicked our butt. From after the first drive, Lions put bell to what. Right?
Yeah, that was expected.
That was expected. They're doing that to basically everybody right now, before and after games. Brian Branch, how stupid. Anyways,
think this.
But we're a couple of plays away from being 4-1 right now.
Yeah.
To me, that's incredible. Now, obviously, there's still more things to talk about the game. We'll talk about the schedule in a little bit, but I mean, we're a couple of plays away from being 4-1. Now, we can't say we are 4-1. Obviously, you have to make those plays, but
sure, yeah.
For the Bears to be 3-2 after it looked really dark for weeks or so, 0-2. I mean, I think they're on the right track with Ben Johnson for sure.
Yeah, and I definitely think when you look at this team, it comes down to things aren't always going to be perfect, right? Especially when it's a lot of new faces, brand new coaching staff, newer players that got brought in. So things take time to work, and honestly, there hasn't been a more perfect time than right now. It's still early in the season. We came off of a bye week, or an early bye week again, but all the players were mentally reset. They refreshed themselves. Okay, now it's back to business. Yep. And definitely, when you look at these next couple of games, especially against teams that aren't playing as well, that'll be huge. Especially we have a great chance to really make some noise in our division if we're able to get the wins we are supposed to get.
Yeah, of course. So obviously, it's always going to be good to celebrate a win.
Yeah,
always want to see that. Before I think we advance, I do want to touch on a couple of things. Number one, I want to talk about some of the cool facts that I found for this game.
Yeah.
So the Bears are the first team since 1926 to win back-to-back one-point games by the exact same score.
Wow.
Okay? Here's the funny part about that. The last team to do that was the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets, who won 2 straight games by a score of 7-6. The Bears were the team they beat in the second one of those games. And the quarterback for that Yellow Jackets team was Hust Stockton. Now, you might be wondering, who the hell is Hust Stockton? He is the grandfather of John Stockton, who's the NBA's all-time leader in assists. So, kind of cool historical fact there, the Bears. I mean, not necessarily a good or bad thing, but, hey, if we could win every game 25-24, my heart wouldn't appreciate it, but, I wouldn't mind. But, no, I think that's just kind of some of the cool stuff to go on with this Bears win. One of the things, though, the negatives that I do have to talk about, Justin, you know what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
The penalties.
Yeah.
And
they beat the refs.
I will take one pause for just 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay. I've complained about the penalties with the Bears all year.
Mm-hmm.
They've played a little sloppier. Not a little. They played quite a bit sloppier than I probably would have liked.
Yeah.
I thought yesterday, though,
They were a little rough.
there's some ticky tacky penalties there.
Mm-hmm.
The illegal formation against the Bears on the Roma Dunze touchdown that wiped it off the board was bogus. That was bogus.
Yeah. I felt like the referees in this game were definitely.
They had Commanders' money line.
Absolutely. Yeah, they sure did. That's why like this win felt so much sweeter, because I feel like that would have definitely been something that I would have been complaining about today if they didn't win. Like, the referees definitely held us back on some of those plays for sure.
I mean, so that play, correct me if I'm wrong, Justin, but that was – so we scored the touchdown, get called back.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb gets sacked. That was the field goal that was blocked, correct?
Yeah.
So that took 7 points off the board in a 1-point game. Like, that's a big swing.
Mm-hmm.
Big swing. So shout out to the Bears for fighting back. But, again, there was some legitimate penalties, right? There were some face masks and holdings and everything like that. Mm-hmm. We got to get that cleaned up, right?
Sure.
I complained about the rushing attack, and they fixed it. Now let's fix some penalties. We can't be committing 9 penalties for 84 yards. Like, that's just not what good disciplined teams do.
Not at all.
Another thing, obviously we talked about Caleb. I wanted to see him be a little bit more accurate. Zacchaeus, I might be out on Zacchaeus. I might be wanting to get Luther Burden some more snaps. That would be another complaint that I have. That one that Caleb threw to him when they were backed up against their own end zone, and Zacchaeus dropped it.
Yeah,
that was embarrassing, dude.
That was rough.
That was embarrassing.
Yeah.
So we got to get that cleaned up, and obviously I would love to see our 10th overall pick get a little bit more involved in the offense.
Yeah.
Now we're getting in the ticky-tack area a little bit, but obviously when you spend a top pick, you want to use them. But
I would like to say, too, this is totally unrelated, but hey, put the camera on me right quick. Troy Aikman, what's your beef with Caleb Williams, bro? I felt like the whole game, like, and usually I never get on, like, the announcing, but come on, man. Like, you couldn't give him any credit, like, none at all. Listen, I know the Bears aren't one of your favorite teams to watch. I get it. It's Monday night. It's wet. It's rainy. It's DC. But come on. Nothing?
Yeah,
Just
that
nothing?
was kind of odd to me.
That was weird, dude.
I'm not one to be like, I hate Joe Buck, I hate Romo, or like whatever.
Yeah.
But yesterday did kind of feel like he had a vendetta against Caleb. Like, it was like,
Definitely.
I feel like it was like a non-biased Bears fan thing. Like, he was just kind of going at Caleb.
Yeah.
Like, we would get a first down and he'd be like, well, he had a guy deeper, and it's like, dude, like, what? Like, we got a first down, you know?
It's insane.
And then it was crickets when Jane Daniels fumbles the snap on the last drive. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Troy Aikman did kind of have a weird beef with Caleb. And I wonder why. Like, I'm trying to think.
It's because he paints his fingernails. Maybe Troy doesn't like fingernail painted quarterbacks.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think like what the beef would be. I can't really think of anything, but yeah, it felt almost personal to a certain degree. It was kind of weird.
It really did.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with that. That's what we could leave off of. So the Bears, in conclusion, beat the Commanders, the referees, and Troy Aikman.
Yeah,
they went 3-0 last night.
They did.
Good.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Need to add that to our win total, or
exactly.
Yeah.
Bears are now 6-2.
Yes,
what we're saying.
Yeah, in our minds. Yep.
Yeah. Also, one last thing I'll say before we move on: Bears have won on my birthday 2 years in a row.
Yeah, look at that.
So
we got to make sure whoever does the schedule, Roger Goodell, we got to make sure
on my birthday every year. I don't care if it's a Wednesday. Schedule on my birthday every year. All right.
Yeah.
That's about all I had for the game, Justin.
Mm-hmm.
Now I kind of wanted to shift gears into talking about the Bears going forward. We do this every episode.
Yeah.
We talk about their season outlook and future opponents and everything like that. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of this in a little bit, but next week they play the Saints at home. Justin, if we're not 4-2 at this time next week, we're going to have real issues.
Man, I wish I had an extra belt because that's really what it should be about. I mean, they have looked awful.
Yeah.
I remember seeing one tweet on Twitter that was it was like the Saints warming up, and it was against like a really good team. and the quoted tweet said, "You guys just go out there and have fun."
Yeah,
because that's basically
just
what
try your
doing.
best. Just try your best.
We should run Spencer Rattler out of town. Or Rattler, however you say his name. Or
we need to do what the Seattle Seahawks did to the Saints.
Yeah,
44-13 in the first half. It was like Saints. This was the sequence in the first half. It was like Saints get the ball, turnover on down, Seahawks score a touchdown. Saints get the ball back, Seattle ran the punt back for a touchdown. Saints get the ball back, Seattle blocked the punt, scored an offensive touchdown. It was like bang, 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 bang. That's what we need to do. Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah,
like
crazy.
This should be. If this is a field goal game, I'm going to have a lot of worries. I know we just said that winning the National Football League doesn't matter how you win, just that you win. For this game, it matters. We gotta assert our dominance over the Saints.
For
this
sure.
is a home game.
Yeah.
The win against the Raiders and the win against the Commanders were both on the road. The Commanders were, the NFC runner-up last year.
Yep.
No excuses. The Saints need to be absolutely embarrassed in Chicago this weekend.
They do.
Additionally, another cool storyline that we'll talk about later is this is the battle of Caleb Williams versus Spencer Rattler, the guy who he replaced at Oklahoma and then left for USC. So Saints, that needs to be a win, period. Next week with the Ravens, now at the beginning of the year, this was an auto loss.
Yeah.
This was an auto loss. The Ravens are 1-5.
Crazy.
Lamar's still hurt. The last I checked, we don't have a definitive timeline about when he's coming back.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they have their bye week this week, and then he may be coming back after the bye week. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Regardless, not going to be Lamar at 100%.
No.
I don't think. So this is going to be a very, very precarious spot for the Ravens. Game is in Baltimore. Again, I'm not going to go crazy.
Yeah.
Game's in Baltimore. If he's back, they're going to need all the wins they can get because they're falling behind such a big hole.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it, but I'm saying it.
I think I am saying it only because when you look at these close games that we won, their team is horrible too.
Yeah.
You have to look at, if we look at the last two games, right? They were ugly, they were nitty, but they were close. And guess what? They weren't even at home.
Yeah.
So if looking at these past two wins, if you're able to go out there on the road on somebody else's turf and somebody else's team, no matter what the weather conditions are, rainy, in a dome, whatever, and still go out there and win and dominate, I have confidence that if – I think the big asterisk for me is if Lamar Jackson is not playing, I think we definitely can win for sure, But, yeah.
No, that'd be interesting. But I think, again, that game is a lot more winnable than it was 2 months ago.
Yeah,
right?
Sure
Then
was.
you get the Bengals, who are now led by Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Which I think makes them better, actually.
Yeah, right. Crazy.
But still, the Joe Burrow-less Bengals. Then you get the Giants, who I don't think are good, but are kind of sneaky competitive now, I guess.
Yeah.
We get the Vikings again. Steelers with Aaron Rodgers. The Eagles, again, I'm not saying we beat the Eagles.
But they did. But they did just lose to the Giants.
The Eagles look like there's something's not right in Philly right now.
No.
Something's not right in Philly. So if you could, maybe if like A.J. Brown brings another book on the sideline or something, we could take advantage. I don't know.
Yeah.
Then we go Packers. Then we go, which at that point will be the Shedeur Sanders-led Browns.
Yeah, at that point.
Perfect timing for that. Then we get the Packers again. The Niners. Now, this is another team I want to talk about. No Nick Bosa. No Fred Warner for the rest of the year. Brock Purdy, what's going on with him? George Kittle, what's going on with him? Is Brandon Ayuk coming back? Is Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings going to be back? This team is an utter shambles. It's
an utter shambles, but their record is still good, which makes no sense.
The record's solid, but
it's only because they've been playing
They've been playing great, and I do think, and I have a lot of friends who are really good 49ers fans, and they've told me this for years. Nick Bosa is the, most celebrated guy on their defense.
Yeah.
But Fred Warner's the guy who makes the wheel turn. Like, he is the key to their defense.
Yeah.
Losing Nick Bosa is more preferable than losing Fred Warner.
Yeah, I agree.
And now they lost both. So, I mean, he's the captain. He's the leader of the defense. He calls the play. Like, he is just such an integral part of their defense. And now him and the superstar pass rusher are gone. Like, that is a huge, huge loss. I expect the 49ers to start tapering off soon.
Yeah.
And then, what's going on with Brock Purdy? What's going on with, Christian McCaffrey's been healthy so far this year. But Kittle's been hurt. There's a lot of injuries going on with the 49ers right now. And then the Lions in Week 18, like, Justin, I mean, if you look at and I know this is the NFL and nobody's 100%, there's always injuries.
Yeah.
But we seem to have some of the most injured teams coming up on our schedule.
We do.
Possibly no Lamar. Possibly no Lamar. Definitely no Joe Burrow, right? The 49ers, like I just mentioned, are all banged up. Like, those are good quarterbacks that we might not have to play anymore.
Yeah.
Which is a huge addition to the Bears' playoff chances, in my opinion. So, I don't know, man. If they beat the Saints, they're 4-2, right?
Yeah.
Things start to get interesting if the Bears are sitting. If we're sitting here at this desk next week and the Bears are 4-2, and Lamar's not back or Lamar's not 100% or whatever.
Yeah.
Our season now gets very interesting, I think.
It does.
So, got to take care of business against the Saints, but
right, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, I think definitely if this was a very similar way of last year when we were just losing games badly, I wouldn't say we have a chance in the playoffs. But I think we have a chance. I think we could be sneaky. A lot of these teams, like I totally forgot about the Bucks being 5-1 right now. That's pretty random. But you have
Baker's been playing incredible.
He has been playing incredible though. But I do think as the season progresses, that most of these teams, will fall off eventually. They'll run into the Lions, or they'll run into the Eagles, they'll run into better performative teams, and we'll kind of see the ranking style of the NFC kind of change a little bit. But yeah, I guess we'll see.
Side question before we go on to talk about the Saints. Do you think the Commanders are a playoff team?
And it's so weird because they had a really weird off season and players not wanting to play. I know a certain wide receiver, but I'm not going to name him.
Terry McLaurin. Sorry.
Yeah, somebody. But anyway, I just feel like this team. I feel like the hype was so pushed last year, and I feel like I honestly feel like the Commanders just took a hot streak. It was just like you got the top pick in the draft, you got a nice quarterback, and I felt like really as well, them making the signings that they did last off season really hurt them in a way. Like I just feel like overall when you look at this team, I really am like Deebo Samuel. I'm sorry, bro. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
I felt like when they made the move for him and stuff like that, I thought, man, this could really be something. You have your whether if they want to put him at wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2, you have your guy. Who can play. But I just feel like even in last night's game, like he was jogging out there, man.
Yeah.
He wasn't really effective.
He was not a factor at all.
No. So, and obviously with Daniels getting hurt, recovering, I just felt like I still feel like they are a good team, but they are very similar to us to where you have a sophomore quarterback who is still learning. So,
well, and last year they won so many games in a fluky manner. Right?
Yeah, it was not.
They beat us on a Hail Mary. Jalen Hurts was hurt. They beat like Tanner McKee for the Eagles. They won the game in Dallas on like a last-second weird touchdown to Terry McLaurin. Like they had some really fluky wins. Yeah. And I think that their luck was just bound to expire. Yeah. And I think maybe we're seeing it now. I don't think that. I like Jane Daniels. I think he's a good quarterback. This is not a Jane Daniels diss at all. No. I just don't think their team is very talented. And I think their defense is very old. I think I saw a stat before the season started that their average age of their team is like 28, which is really old.
I forgot that Bobby Wagner's on the team, to be honest. I saw him last night.
Their quarterback's like 24, or he's like 25, whatever. So
Von Miller? Good Lord.
Yeah, Von Miller. They got Bobby Wagner. Like,
if this was 2016, I'd be like, these guys are stacked.
This is like, if this was like Denver Broncos, Von Miller, and Legion of Boom, Bobby Wagner, this team would be incredible. This is the retirement home now. Like, this is crazy.
It is.
But no, I agree with you. I don't know that they're a playoff team. I don't know. And now the other good thing about this is that say that it does come down to the Bears and the Commanders for one of those final wild card spots, we have the tiebreaker now.
Yeah, we do.
That's why I always think it's so big to beat these teams that are like in kind of your same skill level. Yeah. Because if it comes down to, because they're not winning their division, the Eagles are going to win their division, right? We know that. Yeah. We're probably not going to win our division. No. So when it comes down to wild card, who gets the 7 seed, the 9-8 Bears and the 9-8 Commanders, we beat the Commanders.
We do.
We get the 7 seed. So I think that's interesting. But before we get into playoffs, and I know we've been talking about playoffs a lot, we're very excited. We are. Could the Cubs and the Bears make the playoffs in 1 year? Could that happen?
I am not a gambling man, but if I had some money to put to the side, I'd definitely try.
I don't want to make this like Cubs talk today or anything, but like Cubs just had their best season since like 2017. Yeah. They were a game away from the NLCS. Yeah. They got a good young core.
They do.
I like who their coach is. They got superstars. Like, are we back, Chicago sports? Are we back?
I think we have at least 2/3 or maybe like 50%. Yeah. Of
because the White Sox, they're holding us down. They're not really pulling.
Well, I mean, you have football covered. Hopefully, you have baseball covered, but the Bulls are still terrible. They're probably going to.
How are the Blackhawks? They're any good?
No, they're still. I mean, they got
who's that kid they got? Bedard.
Yeah, Connor Bedard. So it's just like, but yeah, they're still heavily rebuilding. So don't look for them to be in a playoff anytime soon.
Isn't he supposed to be like like their Caleb Williams, basically like number 1
Basically, yeah, he's supposed to be a generational talent, but I don't think.
Who was the guy we had? Again, this is now Blackhawks talk today. Who was the guy we had when we won the championships? That was number 1 pick. Patrick Kane, was he number one pick?
I thought it was Taze.
May have been Taze. I don't know.
Yeah,
One of those guys that
guys
we drafted was like a superstar.
Yeah.
Was really good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe Chicago sports is back. Listen, 1 point win. I'm not going crazy, but like, I could say the Cubs are back.
Yeah, you can.
Are the Bears back?
Mm-hmm.
Are the Bulls? Bulls are not back. We know.
Bulls are not back.
Bulls.
They are mid. I can go on.
But what if they trade for Giannis? Maybe if they trade for Giannis, they'll be back.
If they trade for Giannis, the whole city will be broke. But anyway, that's another conversation.
Yeah. We getting taxed. 25% every time you go to Jewel.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's shift gears back to the Bears. Justin, we play the Saints on Sunday. The Bears are 5.5 point favorites. This is their biggest margin, this is their biggest line in their favor since the season has started. Arguably playing one of the worst teams on their schedule, and maybe even one of the worst teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
What are some of the key matchups against the Saints? What are things that we need to look out for? What are things that we need to account for? Players, plays, trends, etc. What do you got for me?
Man, I would say the key matchups. They're so garbage. I can't even think of it. I
have no idea.
Yeah, because he retired, didn't he? He used to be in the Chiefs, safety.
Matthew?
Yeah,
Tyrann Mathieu. Yeah, he's done. He got up out of there.
He got up out of there, right?
He said, he said, I've been to Super Bowls, man. I'm not doing this.
Yeah, I really can't think of anybody on either side. I think the biggest thing overall is let's not get comfortable. I think definitely, we've had some excitement winning on the road. We've won close games. Let's uphold that same energy, especially at home. You're going to have the crowd behind you. I'm expecting an aggressive start. I'm expecting Ben Johnson to come up with an offensive scheme that'll be able to move the ball downfield. I would love to see DeAndre Swift run all over this Saints defense again. That'd be great. But overall, no matter which way we start this game, I think overall we have to strike first, and we have to be able to be aggressive. I think that's the only way we're going to be able to get ahead of them, and our defense has to hold up again, which I know sounds pretty repetitive, but especially in a game like this, I feel like this, losing to the Saints can really shake their confidence.
Yeah.
They're not good. They're 1-5 for a reason. They're terrible.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, it's kind of like my overall preview is just that stay hungry. Do not let up now and think, it's a walk in the park, because that's how you beat yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll just go through some of these stats really quick. The Saints' defensive passing DVOA is 29th in the NFL. Their defensive DVOA is 29th in the NFL. Offensively, their passing DVOA, 24th in the NFL. Mm-hmm. This is a team, Justin, that you need to walk all over. They're scoring 18.4 points per game.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think, I know we were just joking about, who is there to watch on their team. Mm-hmm. Honestly, Alvin Kamara is still pretty good.
I forgot about him, yeah.
I don't think that they have a lot of weapons that scare you. I mean, Chris Olave's a fine receiver. Mm-hmm. And I think Rashid Shaheed can make a couple of big plays here and there, but they don't have any skill guys that really strike fear. They don't have Justin Jefferson.
No.
They don't have, an Ashton Genty. They don't have a guy like that that could turn the tide of the game. On defense, they don't have a star pass rusher. Mm-hmm. They don't have a superstar safety or linebacker or corner. They're just kind of there.
Yeah,
they're just a team that exists, really. Mm-hmm. Especially getting this team at home. No excuses.
Yeah.
Absolutely no excuses. Spencer Rattler, who I will say I've actually been a little bit higher on than I would think general consensus. Mm-hmm. My boy Matt has really been making me focus on Spencer Rattler. I think the situation with Spencer Rattler is I just feel bad for him.
Yeah.
On the year, 6 touchdowns, just 1 pick, 1,200 yards, 91 passer rating. He's been better than I think people give him credit for.
Yeah.
With that being said, the Saints are doing him no favors.
No
favors. So how much damage could he really do? I'm not sure. But again, this is a former college teammate of Caleb Williams, the guy that Caleb Williams replaced during the Red River rivalry.
Say that 5 times fast.
Exactly. Say that 5 times fast, which ironically was this past weekend.
Wow.
Now you got both Oklahoma quarterbacks going at it. Yeah, I mean, I really struggle to find a way, besides absolute catastrophe, that the Saints win this game.
Yeah.
This should be one of your just when the season starts, you circle a couple games. You're like, those are auto wins, and if any of those don't come to fruition, you hit the panic button. This is one of those games. This is one of those games, especially coming off a 3-game win streak, especially with Caleb playing well and the defense. This is also the Dennis Allen revenge game, who was their head coach for several seasons. So there's a lot going in for the Bears in terms of their favor. I'd be really, really, really disappointed if they lost this game. And I would be disappointed if they didn't win this game by a comfortable margin.
Yeah.
You don't got to win by 30. You don't got to win by 25. You know, win by a touchdown.
I go by 2 touchdowns. That's a touchdown is too close for me. I need it to be domination.
Well, I would say even like 2 touchdowns would be great. Maybe if they score like a garbage time touchdown.
Sure, yeah. A field goal maybe.
Yeah, field goal, whatever.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think the game should be 2 touchdowns before garbage time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm with you.
Right.
I don't think there's a lot of things to analyze. I don't think there's a lot of key matchups. I really cannot stress this enough. The Bears should have no issue with the Saints.
No.
I think the Saints are arguably the worst team in the NFL. They're not the worst because the Jets and the Titans exist.
Yeah.
They're probably like the 3rd or 4th worst team in the NFL. But this is a team that will be picking in the top 5 of the draft come April.
Oh, for sure. They'll get a high draft pick.
We know that's going to be the case. So you should steamroll them. You should go through them. What's your score prediction, Justin?
Let's see here. I feel like for my score prediction, let's go 27-20. I think the thing is I feel like it'll either go 2 ways. We'll dominate and hold them. We'll just dominate on both sides of the ball, which is great. But I feel like, our defense. I mean, it's been consistent these past 2 games, but I'm still a little bit skeptical. So I will say our offense will be the shining spotlight in this game. And we'll get a touchdown at them. So 27-20.
I'm gonna say 24-10. I don't think you gotta let the Saints barely go into double-digit points. So
okay.
Yeah, I think honestly, unless you had anything else, Justin, that might do it for today's episode of Bears Talk today.
No, yeah, it does.
Great win.
Need
to make it 4 in a row. Let me just look up. When's the last time the Bears had a 4-game win streak?
Before the existence of the Bears. No. The Bears didn't exist when there was a 4-game win.
1922. No, I'm just kidding. 2018. That makes sense.
Yeah.
They had a 6-game win streak from week 1 to week 6. Wow. Do you remember being 6-0, Justin?
I do.
How that must feel?
That was before I had beard and puberty.
2018. I was a sophomore in high school.
Yeah. It was
the last time the Bears won at least 4 games in a row.
Freshman in college. You little young old me.
Can I say something before we leave?
Go ahead.
Bears fans are a little too mean to Matt Nagy.
Wow.
They're a little too mean to Matt Nagy.
Wow.
Other than Lovie Smith, who took us to to 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, took us to a Super Bowl and then took us to another NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
He's been the best Bears coach of my lifetime.
Really?
Now, is that a high bar? I'm not saying he's Vince Lombardi.
Yep.
Bears fans are too mean to Matt Nagy. I'm just going to say that.
Okay.
I'm going to end the episode on that. So, yeah, I think that'll do it. Hell yeah. We won 3 games in a row.
We did.
So I got to say. But, Justin, if that's it from you as well, we'll go ahead and end it off. We will see you guys next week after we hopefully steamroll the New Orleans Saints. We're going to make them the New Orleans Aints, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And, help their tank. I mean, I think Saints fans want us to beat them too. I think they want to.
They want that high draft pick.
They do. Mm-hmm. They want to bring Arch Manning home and complete the.
There you go.
Well, I know he's not been playing good, but anyways.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching.
Yep.
Have a nice day.